Alright, dude. So, for those of you who do know, for those of you who don't, go check it out. It goes back to tweets, videos. I have the links in some videos I did. I doubt I'll be long putting the links in this description. But, so, Greg Adams did his response video to Richard Cooper's tweets. And then now this is Richard Cooper's response to the whole thing in general. Um, I this to me was like really just not a good way for either side to go about it. One point that they made was Richard Cooper. I mean, was they say Greg Adams did not invite Richard Cooper on his video, and if that's the case, if he didn't even reach the hand out and invite him on, then that's bad on him. To other than to just have the conversation. But to respond in this way, where Richard Cooper goes and gets five other guys to weigh in and he say it's solely because he didn't reach out to me, so I'm not gonna reach out to him. In the first 20 minutes of this video, they dropped the bitch behavior and beta male and blue pill, quite a few times, and it's like, well, how can you trying to eliminate your ability or your right to say that when you respond in this manner? This isn't a manly, masculine way to respond. This is a very, he says something about me. I'm going to get my panel and blah, blah, blah. Like, yo, come on. And again, I said in the comments of this video that I'm not going to say Greg got everything right or did everything right. But this is I don't like it. But to get into some of the things that they said, I don't like the generalizations that they did, for one. Uh, One thing that I immediately heard, well, one of the first things I wrote down was the guy Modern Life right there in the middle. He said, MGTOW is just a red pill without the sex. I Again, it sounds like you're just doing just like Greg said. You're just throwing shit out there just to be insulting. Well, he didn't say that, but he said you're a MGTOW bashing or something like that. And you got to understand, you should know that there are MGTOWs, as they say in the video, oddly, that there are different phases of it, levels of it. So to immediately say, "Oh, MGTOW, they don't get pussy," you are making one thing uh, the lowest it could possibly be. That people might as well say every last one of you are, whatever name call they want to do to you. I didn't like how this panel went about this. Um, and then Richard Cooper, I remember he said he didn't even watch the video. Why didn't you watch the video? You can't possibly tell me you put actual effort into trying to have this discussion, which if you didn't, why have it? If it's so beneath you, why bring five other dudes on here? What would be the point of that if you didn't care about it that much? Because you didn't watch it. Um, and then another thing that I really want to get to is when they were discussing this, one of the things that they said was, why do you need other people to hear that you're MGTOW? Why do you make content? Why do you do any of that? Why don't you just go be MGTOW? Well, if you feel like men in general are being screwed and you want to have an effect, if your ultimate goal is to get things changed for men, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you tell other men, hey, listen, this shit isn't working. We need to come up with a plan and do this. Is their plan right? I don't know. I don't fucking know everybody's plan. I'm not going to make that, you know, make it seem like I do. But it is actual. It makes sense to do that. Now, do you have MGTOWs, people who just want to profit? Yeah. Do you have MGTOWs who are just those angry guys? Yeah. I said before, when I first came across MGTOW years ago, I immediately wrote it off as sounding gay, as dudes who are angry, dudes who are so on and so forth. Those were the videos that I seen. But fast forward to today, I've seen more videos. I've heard more philosophies about it and so on and so forth. I see that that's not all of MGTOW. Understand? So it's, again, very generalizing. And like, uh, moving on, he said, one thing they said is, because they were talking about the putting women on a pedestal and all that, and not worrying about this with women and something in that nature. They said, why get a sex doll? Why not just masturbate to porn? Again, I understand they were trying to get to a philosophy, but seriously, you gotta step back and look at that question. You're asking the dude, why don't you just masturbate the way I think is normal? You're asking other men why they don't masturbate a particular way you see fit. Come on, like, yo, that was part of the issue that some people had with Richard Cooper's original tweet. If everybody should be doing their own thing and not worrying too much about what other men do, why are you asking men why they beat off with a tool as opposed to their hand in porn? One point where I did agree with them. I did agree with them when they said that there are teenagers who are in MGTOW, and I touched on this before. I don't listen. I don't like the fact that men and women have this type of back and forth going on. I don't like the split that they have. I don't like the insecurities that they have with one another. I don't. I think it's shitty that we have this. So no, I agree with them. I don't like the fact that it's reached all the way to teenagers, because let's admit, some of MGTOW, if you handle it, depending on how you handle it, you can isolate yourself. And that's pretty much the guys that they, blow up and say is most of MGTOW. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know the stats. But it's a very dangerous thing to mishandle. Again, you can isolate yourself, put yourself into depression, etc. So yeah, I don't like the fact that teenagers are going into MGTOW. I don't. Um, I touched on the name calling, and they said the end result. What is the end result of MGTOW? Why are you trying to bring more and more men into it? And as I said earlier, it's for a cause. Some people have a cause, and they said, like, if you look at the titles, are they quitters? And he kept saying quitters, quitters, quitters at some point throughout, well, at really most points throughout this, the quitters, I don't talk to quitters and blah blah blah. Listen, first of all, you dismiss any idea that somebody can quit for an actual reason, and that's anything. If you're working a job and people are constantly putting you in these positions to where, I don't know, you might be in danger, or you might be at risk of hurting yourself, or just anything. Sometimes there are actual reasons that are make logical sense to quit something. But to keep it in MGTOW, some men might quit women because they said, "Listen, I've been burnt a few times. I've been on I'm on child support. I've been divorced. You might see it logical to quit." I don't know. One guy, this guy Aaron, he said, well, he was referring to the teenagers, but I think I heard somebody allude to it, so I'm gonna address it as if it was, because I think I heard it. But he said, man, you haven't been. I think incels that might have been talking about. You haven't been burnt before. You haven't. If I seen enough, why do I want to get burnt in the first place? Why can't I make the choice to say, look, I don't want to do this. I haven't went as far as getting a dog, but if I decided, fuck, I rather just go get a dog and carry on my day, the way I see fit, the way I want to, and not have to worry about anything besides myself. Why is that such a bad decision? Why do I have to be? Oh, you don't have the balls to. Maybe that's just what I deem to be most comfortable for me, or the next guy, next guy, next guy. Again, not dismissing any of the dudes that are, actively trying to get men to be victims, to play victims. I understand that. I Nobody likes someone who plays a victim. But to dismiss any idea that a man can actually say, I don't want to do it. I don't want a wife. I don't want kids. I'll take pussy as it comes, if it comes, or again, I'll just get a dog. What's the issue? What is the issue? More for you, isn't it? And then you would consider those dudes the lowest on the totem pole, as they said. They at some point they said these the dudes you think that they look like in the head. Those are them. That means you're taking those dudes away from possibly making a kid with a woman or so on and so forth. What's the issue? What the fuck is the issue if that's the case? Uh, just so I can think about some things, I'm going to go into the comment section and see what we can see. Uh, the Rule Zero gang gets together and talks about some recent events that Coach Greg Adam initiated around MGTOW, how it's evolved over time, and if these men are just quitters or if they are really men going their own way. Okay. And another thing, they said that Greg Adams was just looking for shine. If I'm not mistaken, I think he has like 50,000 subscribers. I'm not going to look it up on her because I don't want to navigate from the screen. But let's see here. Come on. Greg Adams. Greg Adams. Greg Adams has 67,000 subscribers. And it was actually I think when I first started watching him, I think he was maybe at 50. And it was like months ago. I can't remember, but I know he had tens of thousands of subscribers. And he's done so without doing this. So why would he need to do this for shine? I know he has 212 subscribers, 12,000 subscribers, but wouldn't it be best in his interest to try and get on your panel? Because you didn't say that he did. Again, I'm not trying to be all his savior or whatever, but just trying to attack the logic here. If he wants to be or trying to get shine from Richard, why not just try to be on the panel? And if he did, I'm pretty sure he would have put that there. And this is actually what I said. I'm saying he's not saying right, but man, this is crazy to watch. A lot of generalizations going on. Who the hell replied to me? Oh. Aaron is the only one being mature and analytical in his shows. Class and no hurt feelings. Which one is Aaron? I agree with that. Again, the guy, Modern Life Dating, he actually had bullet points to defend everything about Richard. And it's just like, what did he bring you on for? Did he bring you on only for that? To be his back? It's just I didn't like the way this was handled at all. Not to say that I handled everything right, but I didn't like the way it was handled. I've been a fan of yours for about a year now and was a little disappointed by this. I understand you are defending yourself, but this seemed like high school drama. Still a fan, just hope the drama stuff stays out of this community. Agree. I fucking agree. Like, it's terrible. It sounded terribly. It's better not to take personal offenses out for the public. The red pill transcends women. It's multifaceted culture, government, history, kills lifestyle, or whatever that is. Yes, chase excellence, not women, and women will chase you. However, I can't agree with everything you guys say. Not all single guys are lonely and men are not oppressed. Wages down, workplace deaths up. Majority of homeless men, huh? Positive hiring practices for women. I could go on, but like most men, I just get on with my life and focus on myself. Sounds fair and logical. Not so, oh, you must. And he dropped the video that says do the work. I might actually look at that video before I even get off here. I'm thinking about it to see how he actually, I'm pretty sure it has something to do with this. When did he drop this video? What they are arguing is basically whether or not guys are having sex with real women. Clearly, both parties are men, going their own way because they are not living the blue pill narrative, except Rolo since he is married. Here is the pot of gold, though. If chasing excellence is what we should be doing, and the ultimate goal is to be with women, this whole concept, see, will contradict itself because according to red pill theory, women can at any time leave a man. So actually, this is just a cycle of life. Thumbs up, you were smart enough to understand this. Listen, I kind of have that question as well because it seems that his message is their message is heavily rooted still in getting women, or if that's the focus of the message. Again, I don't watch them enough to know. Um, again, it dismisses any idea that the men have, the concerns that men have. Again, they did say fairly that you can't act as if every single time you come in contact with the women that there's going to be some type of, bad thing that happens to you. Again, that's fair. But if a guy says, I don't want to go into it at all, I'm just going to work, do what I want, and keep everything for myself, and not give it to anyone. What's the harm? Why does he have to be labeled a quitter because he's making a decision that he feels is best for his life? That's what I don't like about the do the work message. That it seems to be, oh, you must, if you don't want to get away, you just want to be a quitter. And it's like, no, you can, because when I left my last relationship, I decided that I really needed to think about where I need to go or want to go, and so on and so forth. And as of right now, I'm not engaging in any type of get married or have a relationship that's leading to marriage, kids, and anything like that. But, you know, I mean, sex still happens. It may not be with the greatest of women. I don't know if that's how you're judging it, but I mean, it still happens. So it's not like, you know, MGTOW or dudes who only focus on them and not women are men who are, for whatever reason, again, I just think they're overgeneralizing a lot of things here. If I may, please take your own standard advice and just do your own thing. As a truck driver, nice, you get to like them automatically. I listen to a lot of your YouTube videos, and it really bothers me when a video is created about what other people think of you or defend you against trolling comments. How often does you make videos like that then? Because from that statement, it sounds like quite a bit. And for to be a guy who's so into what you do and you're so confident, why would you constantly make videos about people think of you? Especially a video that you say is rooted into mastering yourself or being entrepreneurs or whatever, whatever. I'm gonna do this last one. I'm gonna go up and do a couple random points of the video to just give an idea of what they were saying. Given the current conditions of our society is in the rash of sexual abuse charges against men, it's difficult to justify being involved with women. Being well off as a man doesn't make you exempt from this or from female nature in general. You can call men who choose not to partake in the dating scene quitters, but I think it's more of a case of weighing the risk and reward of it and realizing that risks are far higher at this point. 37 replies. Ooh, who hate him? Don't call me white, so full of shit. This is a weak, pathetic excuse to keep being a pussy. How? Like, how? It can be. I'm not gonna say it can't. It can be used as an excuse, but how is it by default an excuse? Let's play twist words here, and if you want to always come at men who decide to take this route, just call them pussies and names and bitches and quitters. How about this? How about you you men who think like Richard Cooper and his panel? How about we just say, you know what? You are actually the real quitters, and you make excuses because you don't want to actually go against having you want to have any principles. You don't want to say, you know what, it actually is in best interest for us all. to come together and try to get these laws or expectations changed in society. So as men, what we're going to do is we're going to keep our things, our hard work, our resources, our everything. We're going to keep for ourselves, and we're going to see how you do in 6 months. We're going to see how the economy does in 6 months when we only spend money on things we want to spend it on. You don't want to have to actually do that work. You see how this is just is nothing to just constantly want to point at somebody and say you're just this. It's not actual dialogue. And in your panel, you all said you actually want dialogue, or you criticize Greg for not wanting dialogue. But it doesn't seem like anybody who's taking this position actually wants any dialogue. You just want to name call people. This guy responded to choosing not to date women is pussy. Fuck out of here with that noise, man. Maybe you're the pussy that can't be happy alone. I don't know if that's like what I just said, but maybe. Now let's just go to a couple points here. Let's go right here.
And whores on MGTOW. It's like, dude, you're a 16-year-old kid who just hit puberty last week. What do you mean you're going MGTOW? You haven't even tried. You haven't even been burned. And what you start to find out is it's an excuse. It's a way to excuse yourself from the responsibilities of being a man, from the responsibilities of self-improvement. It's cowardice, I'd say. A lot of these guys just cannot take rejection. They are deathly afraid of getting rejected by a girl. So what they do is it's like the I don't know, I'm trying to think of a high school example. It would be like the hot chick, if you didn't do her homework, like, well, if you don't do my homework, I'm not going to sleep with you. Well, it's like, you weren't going to sleep with me anyway. And these guys, it's like, well, I'm going to preemptively shoot down these bitches who would shoot me down anyway. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. None of them wanted to go out with you in the first place. So it's really an ego.
None of them wanted to go out with you in the first place. So what are you doing the work for? To make them want to go out with you? Are those women that important? Is really the question that a lot of dudes say that you should ask yourself. I'm not going to say that you should say no or you should say yes. However important they are to you is that's your personal prerogative. But why is saying, nah, they really ain't that important to me? Whatever the fuck it is, being able to watch sports and go to sporting events at will, which you can't do with the family. And I'm just picking that out of the air. But if you value sports and being able to do stuff like that over having a woman, who's to say that that's you're a quitter because that you value that more?
Defensive mechanism now, which is whereas when people.
But not to mistake it that yes, again, like I said, some men are using just like people do. That you just latch on to something and go, oh, well, I'm just going to do this. Absolutely, that does exist.
People say, are you MGTOW? It's like, yeah, in the old school sense, but I prefer to say, yeah, I've just gone ghost. Whereas today, the term and phrase MGTOW has such a bad connotation now that for the most part, not always, I mean, it depends. Yeah, Terrence Popp is MGTOW. Bernard Chapin is MGTOW. To some extent, all of you guys are MGTOW simply based on that reprioritization definition.
Well, yeah. There's one side of MGTOW that can be extremely useful, and that is pulling your head out of the woman's ass and getting out there and making something out of yourself.
I totally
yes,
agree.
100%.
But there's another side that is it's just this victim mindset. It's this I quit, fight or flight. It's this give up mentality, and when you develop a large audience and people look to you for advice, you have a responsibility to these people. You can't tell somebody to quit. You can't tell a 16-year-old kid to quit because some girl dumped him. If he wants, if in his life, if that's what he wants a wife, he wants kids, that's the lifestyle he wants to live. You can't steer him away from that. And, a large part of the MGTOW community is all about this, this fear.
I won't say about teenagers because those are other people's kids still. But I'm going to say as adult men, you can tell people to stay away from it if you're actually saying your purpose. Now they have a choice to, agree with you and jump on your bandwagon or not. But you actually can say, yo, I think all of us men need to stay away until we get this changed. You can't do that. I don't disagree with doing that.
Mongering this gender war hustle, and just recruiting men to go away from women. And that's the part that I had a problem with. I don't want to recruit men to go away from women.
Rebranding of the red pill, and then taking that rebrand and directing it towards, whatever it is that they're doing. Well, that's the thing is I'm always asking this is like,
That's the issue. Girls have,
And then you
Beat
make
you
a
with the
man out of
doll.
you.
Can I?
You
Can
know?
I? I'm gonna throw out a really quick devil's advocate here, because what MGTOWs are gonna say is that why is it weird for guys to have a fleshlight? Why is it weird for guys to have a sex doll when you have women who are getting together and having sex parties and talking about the dildos that they're gonna buy? It's like a Avon party or something.
that's
like
not the
that.
problem, though. The problem isn't that they have a sophisticated sex doll. Their problem is that they're yapping about it and telling you, and they want you to validate that that is a good choice. You did a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
Right on.
every argument you have, and I've had way too many with guys.
Who's asking for validation? Simply saying, "Hey, yo, you should get a doll," is that you're not asking for validation. You're saying you should. I see the benefits in it. You should too. Like, is people do that with everything, not just sex dolls.
Selling sex, or with guys
Not to say it's not annoying when people do this, but people do that with everything, not just sex dolls.
it's that they want to tell me why they're doing it. I'm like, why do you need me to know why you're doing it? So I say it's a good choice. I'm not going to tell you that. So just do your thing and leave me out of it. That's the issue.
I'm pretty sure a random person didn't say that. That's somebody that, I don't know, maybe your friend or maybe one of your subscribers that's coming to you for advice, or somebody that's looking to you in some sort of way for why they should have validation for something that is taboo. So it's very clear why they would tell you that and seek approval.
Girls have vibrators. They don't brag about it.
I would.
Unless
I
it's
would
I mean, if they're at a party exchanging, it's kind of.
also
shame
say
a
they
man.
don't develop a personal relationship with their vibrator.
That was
That's
another
not-
thing.
They're,
Which is
don't
what I
dress
mean,
it
and
up.
that's
they're not making Instagram accounts for their sex toys.
I was
going to
say, I bet you
dildos,
some
and
guy's
dolls.
going to put a link to that in the chat too of some girl's sex toy.
and that's where I'm
Let's
kind
see
of
it.
I kind of
Let's see it.
Send it
concerned
for
for
science.
my fellow man, where it's like, what? That's not a human. That's not. There's
Well,
something
but see,
wrong. There's something
here's the-
wrong.
let me
It's a level of psychosis. It's literally a definitive level of psychosis.
Well, yeah, and then
Well,
we talked about this when we had TFM on
Yeah,
on
was gonna
the
say.
Red Man group back in the day. Is like, and I made this observation, at least, is that it's like that thing in Castaway when like Tom Hanks was talking to the volleyball and he personalized it and made it into a person, because if in that kind of isolation, when you are that cut off from human beings are meant to be, we're social animals, we're meant to be social. When you are lacking that, you will find ways to create that. You'll find effigies, you'll find ways to personalize and anthropomorphize.
Which is exactly why I say I think it's bad to tell a teenager that who hasn't even, that for one, it's still somebody's kid, but it's super early to start considering isolating yourself.
As a guy who I know you, I don't understand how he could be so blatantly wrong. The funniest thing that I took away from all of this, that anybody who's watched at least one of your videos knows that you run a business in the private sector that helps.
I've watched more than one of his videos. I don't know shit about him. I simply, again, the videos I saw, I thought were like MGTOW, at least MGTOW-ish videos. So it's very clear why people can get him confused. Stop acting like there's no way people can get it confused that Richard Cooper is a MGTOW. Like, yo, let's be real here. You know how YouTube's algorithm works. It isn't just straight up, here's all this person's videos. It's, okay, what type of videos does this person watch? And they watch this person videos on his channel. So let's see if there are more videos. You know how YouTube's algorithm works. Stop acting like it's just, why would you think Richard Cooper is a MGTOW?
People in one of the most helpful ways, which is removing debt from their lives. And he thinks that you are in debt with
Never heard him mention that. Now, if Greg said something, whatever he said that he said, if he was wrong, then just Greg was wrong. I'm not speaking on that. I'm just saying, don't act like it isn't. You can't think that Richard Cooper is MGTOW, or that you're supposed to know exactly what his channel is about. His channel is called Entrepreneurs and Cars, but his content isn't solely one stream type of content. It's not.
With all the cars and all the houses in order to build your following to make your income from your men's community and your Patreon. Quite honestly, spoken like a true uneducated poor person. There's multiple things that this guy just doesn't have correct in his video.
What were the arguments? Because he went on for 90 minutes, right? Like he was blathering on from what I.
If you saw the video and you saw how long it was, and you knew that your name and thumbnail, your face was in a thumbnail, name and a title, why not watch the video, Richard? Why bring this dude on to say, tell us everything the video was about? Like, seriously. This is why this was just such a childish thing to do. This was, you want to, masculine. This wasn't, dude. It wasn't.
Stand from a few people.
So at
Red
the
man
14-minute mark to the 14:35-minute mark, he says that Rich is attacking men particularly to please the female members of your audience. Rich, tell me about all those single mom videos you made for all the happy women right there.
Yeah, it's really funny because my biggest critics in the past have always been single mothers and feminists and people that hate the patriarchy and hate men or supremacists and that sort of thing. And I think about 4% of my audience is women, and they're really there just to be a fly in the wall to hear what men are talking about, I think. I don't know about you guys, but my female audience is tiny, so I'm not really sure why he was driving at me pandering to women. That sounds like a ridiculous charge.
Yeah,
Well, so's having sex with a doll, but
I mean, and then the stupidity really.
So when Richard said, that's a ridiculous charge, I don't know who said, I wasn't paying attention, but he said, so is having sex with a doll or some shit like that. Well, if that's a ridiculous charge, who said it? Who brought it up? Richard. So what was your point in the case of Richard? What was your point? You literally said that just to throw some shit out there and to throw salt on somebody. So this was literally just like a gang up. Just bring him on and talk to him. It's that simple. Or ignore it. You have the choice to ignore it. But you did it.
Continues all the way. I mean, I couldn't handle it because I was having dinner with a beautiful woman, not a sex doll. And
Wait, did he just say he couldn't handle it because he was having dinner with a beautiful woman and not a sex? You were studying this video while having dinner with a beautiful woman. Why? Why were you watching Greg while you had a woman with you?
I was having dinner with a beautiful woman, not a sex doll. And I got up to like the
Audience is tiny, so I'm not really sure why he was driving at me pandering to women. That sounds like a ridiculous charge.
yeah.
well, so's having sex with a doll, but
I mean, and then the stupidity really continues all the way. I mean, I couldn't handle it because I was having dinner with a beautiful woman, not a sex doll. And I got up to like the 47-minute mark. So I'll give you a little couple of the highlights that he also says that we could just snuff this right here and once and for all. He says that at the 1440 mark, he specifically mentions that you attack MGTOW again because you have female fans. That's why he says you're attacking MGTOW, because you are a pussy beggar, Rich.
Oh, okay. Clearly.
At 1820, he says the fact that this one I laughed at it. He says at 1820, he says the fact that Richard Cooper has money is disputable.
That helped me the most.
Yeah, Aaron's gonna answer you, pal. I hung up on him.
This is just the one thing. The word no. You tell them no. I have other shit to do.
All right, so I'll add the video in the description. But yeah, what are your thoughts on how both sides handled it? Not just Richard Cooper, but how did Greg handle it? You know, I'm not going to go backwards and do his video. But again, I don't remember everything he said, but I was listening to his while I was driving, so I couldn't write bullet points down like I did with this one. But do you think it could have been handled better? How would you have handled it? You know, and like the video. Be right, not positive. Out.